Hi guys, and welcome back to Garden of Kayland. Hey you guys, it's Kayla and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to owning houseplants. I got into houseplants at the late end of 2017. My mom gifted me a houseplant in the cutest red pot. I still have it. And so when that started taking off and when that really started thriving, I realized, oh, this works as home decor too. And I literally just went to the store and bought plants and they all died. So here are 5 things I wish I knew before I got into houseplants. So the first thing I learned, houseplants come with pests, especially from big box stores. And even if they don't, assume that they did. I just assume everything that I get, no matter where I get it from, I assume everything that I get has pests in it. I did not yet understand that there was an element of pests, and especially from big box stores, in plants and treating them. So if I saw a bug, nope, throw the whole thing away. The best way to deal with pests is to prevent them in the first place. One time I got potting soil from the Dollar Tree. Dirt is dirt, right? No. How wrong I was about that. The number one thing is to prevent them, and if you do see them, to treat them. Someone like me who has a large amount of plants can expect to deal with pests from time to time. It's going to happen. I clean my leaves with a little bit of alcohol and water. I'll wipe down the leaves, I'll wipe down the stems. I will take it up out of the pot or whatever it came in, and I will soak the roots in peroxide and water. Y'all know I love my peroxide and water. That is like the holy grail of plant maintenance for me. And I will put it in all new soil. Even doing that, sometimes I still get pests. It happens, but a lot of the times I don't, because I am very, very careful when I bring a new plant into my house. Houseplants come with pests, period. Number 2, different plants require different care. You really have to do your due diligence when it comes to researching what the plant needs if you really want it to thrive. What type of soil it likes, what type of humidity it needs. And I know that this can be intimidating or sound like you're gonna have to do the most. As you do it more and more and more, you'll start recognizing like the different genus and the different species and what they require and what plant is more difficult, and you know what plant can withstand a little bit more direct sun than the other, what plant wants to be kind of in a darker corner. One of the things that I didn't know was that, you know, all of them weren't the same. I killed a lot of plants that way, from either under or over watering, or the leaf scorching, or not giving it the proper conditions, and so it would attract more pests. That really costed me a lot of time, effort, money, stress. You know, a lot of plants died that way, so take heed to that. Like, even the type of soil that you have your plant in, that matters. I look back and I look at me now and I'm like, I said I would never be the type of person who mixes their own soil. I'm never gonna do that. That's doing too much. And now I absolutely will not put a plant in soil that I did not mix myself. And so I stopped buying like really cheap soil. It really mattered to me at the time to save money, whereas I was actually wasting money because the plant would die and then I'm just tossing the soil out anyway. So it's worth the investment to just get the right soil in the first place. It's not rocket science, really. Not to sound snobby, but I'm speaking from my own experience, because I was a person who was like, that's just doing too much. Once you kind of get the formula for it, you start picking up on things fairly quickly, especially when this is gonna become a hobby and you're really passionate about it. You live and you learn. So number 3 kind of falls right under number 2. Is it dead or is it dormant? Because I wasn't providing the proper care at first, a lot of my plants were dying. So I kind of got accustomed to my plants dying, and it was really very frustrating, because even when I thought I was doing the right thing, thought I got everything right, I went out, I bought all these supplies, and it's still dying. Why? Like, what am I doing wrong? I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get this right. My grandma's like, it's not dead. And I'm looking like, Grandma, can you see? Because this plant is clearly dead. There are no leaves on it, ma'am. I did what she said. She was like, just water it every once in a while. And y'all, Grandma is a professional. You know, she's just like, just water it a little bit. Well, how much is a little bit? How often? When it dries, water it. I did my very best with that, and this was in like December-ish, and I remember March, a leaf came up and I was like, what? A lot of plants in the wintertime will go dormant, and I wish I knew this because I'm thinking back to all the plants I threw away because I was like, it's dead, it's dead, that one died, and they weren't even dead. Oh my gosh, she was right. I didn't tell her that though because I'm too proud. I was playing. I was like, dang grandma, you was right. She's looking at me like, I know that. So a lot of the times it'll look like it's dead, meaning they kind of hibernate or they go to sleep to save energy, and the leaves will die back, and you think that you're killing the plant, but it's really just going to sleep for the winter. Give it the care that it needs and just wait. Make sure obviously that it doesn't have like root rot. I wish I knew that. Number 4, houseplants require so much freaking patience. Patience is not one of my virtues at all. I wanted to see my plants mature and thriving like the big giant gorgeous ones that I would see on social media without having realized I have to put the work in for that to happen. And it wasn't just patience when it came to them growing and thriving and maturing, but also patience when it came to care and trial and error. One of the things that I struggled with was when I would bring it home, I didn't realize, okay, sometimes plants, when you see them in a store and you bring it home, you expect for it to still look that way when you bring it home, and after a week it looks like it's dying, but it's really just in shock and trying to acclimate. They grow in the jungle, you know, they grow in the wild. Your house doesn't have those conditions, so it has to get used to your house first. I want it right now. I want instant gratification. It just takes time, and before you know it, a year, 2 years have gone past, and you look at a picture from when you first got it and you're like, oh dang, you grew a lot. Like, you really grew a lot. You just have to be patient. For me, it's still so hard, and you have to accept the fact that it's not always gonna work out. So number 5 is really, really, really important. If you don't listen to anything else that I say, listen to this one. It's purchase options. I wish I knew that there were different purchase options when it came to plants. Let me explain what I mean by that. There was a time where I could not find a Monstera deliciosa to save my life. I know how hard it is to believe now since they're so readily available, but I couldn't find one. And it serves as a really important lesson now that you can just wait to buy that plant that you really want. Take the Spiritus Sancti, for example. I'm not buying that plant. Not right now. Not right now. Number 1, it's kind of underwhelming to me. If someone gave me one, absolutely I would be thrilled, but it's not doing it for me. It's not really giving, like, spend $400. No. Before you buy that gotta have plant, look at the purchase options. Does someone have a cutting? Is it being sold as a cutting somewhere? Get it bare root, or get it as a wet stick, or get it as just a rooted cutting, as opposed to buying like a giant mature version of it. You save a lot less money that way. The way that I see a less mature plant is when you get a plant, period, any plant, when you bring it home, there is, you know, a very high chance of it going into shock and dropping a leaf or two while getting used to its new conditions. You cannot replicate the exact conditions that it came from. And while some plants do better at acclimating than others, it's just not worth spending, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a mature plant, if you're a beginner especially. On a mature plant, and these are my opinions, y'all, but it's not worth spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a mature plant, bringing it home and it losing all of its leaves, or you have to chop it up and propagate it. You might as well have just spent less on it and just watched it grow up. You know what I mean? Now, there are plants that I would get today that are more mature, but I have a better handle on things now. I know what I can handle, what I can't handle. And if it's really popular, then the demand for it is pretty high. And when the demand for it is pretty high, then they typically start getting mass produced. As soon as I muster up the nerve to spend that much money on that plant, I will walk into a big box store and there will be 20,000 of them. It's happened time and time again. I predict that it will continue to happen. If you're someone who got into plants around COVID, then you've seen it too. You've seen it. In 2020, some of these plants were like ridiculously priced. Now, you're probably seeing some of those plants in big box stores. If you want to treat yourself, I'm here for it. I have definitely gone above like what I consider to be my threshold. But if you absolutely have to have it right now, what are the options? You know, can you get a cutting? Can you get it less mature? Can you get a starter plant and just watch it grow? That is always something that I consider before purchasing a plant. I wish I'd have known that before I started my houseplant journey. So you guys tell me, are you into plants? Are you someone who got into plants around COVID? Were you into plants much longer than that? Let me know in the comments what you wish you knew before purchasing houseplants and before starting your houseplant journey. Maybe I'll learn something too. So you guys take care. I will see you in the next video. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It's a free way to help me out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.